it's Hannah and Cailin, back again with Double Talk. Over the last 7 decades since making his debut in a Charles Schulz comic strip, Charlie Brown has become one of the most iconic characters in cartoon history. This month, Apple TV Plus is reuniting fans with Charlie and his dog, Snoopy, in the new animated series, The Snoopy Show. And today we're talking with the voice of Charlie Brown himself, Ethan Pugiotto, about what it's like to take on a role loved by so many. Charlie Brown is such an iconic character. Did you go back and watch all of the old movies and TV shows to prepare for the role? Or is that not your process?
I kind of did it with my family, actually. We went on Netflix and we searched up for Charlie Brown and we watched it together. And one thing I noticed is he's very calm and he doesn't show much emotion when he's speaking. So for the audition, actually, there were little clips of Charlie Brown. There were 3 clips, and I noticed that he's very calm. He's not really happy. I guess he's like a really sad person in general. But his only friend pretty much is Snoopy, which is a little bit sad. But yeah, I did.
When you're playing such an iconic character, how do you balance bringing back the character that we all know and love and adding your own flair to Charlie Brown?
What I do is before every recording that I do, I read the entire page, not just my lines, but every other person's lines and the description of what's happening in the shot. So if it'll say Snoopy falls or Charlie Brown is sad because he missed the football, I'll add like that sad tone to it, but I'll still make sure to have that monotone sort of Charlie Brown character still in the line.
I imagine just because you play Charlie Brown, you know him better than most people, most fans, most casual viewers of the show and even super fans. Do you have a favorite quality about Charlie Brown? Like, to you, what makes him so special and so loved?
I'd have to say his catchphrases, I guess. One of his main catchphrases is "good grief." Another one is, "why can't I have a normal dog?" Because Snoopy is just so, I guess, abnormal. Yeah, I think that's what I love about Charlie Brown.
Now, let's say you could go back in time and ask one question to the creator of Peanuts, whether it helps you with the role or just in general as somebody who's now a part of the Peanuts universe.
I'd probably ask him how he came up with the characters, if there were any links to his personal life with the characters, and what, I guess, the characters mean to him personally. If they symbolize anything, if he based one of the characters on one of his friends or his family. Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be so excited to see that to this day, Charlie Brown is now going to be introduced to a whole new audience, a whole new generation. Yeah, the legend continues, as they say. He'd be very proud, I'm sure. Do you have a favorite line that you've said so far in the Snoopy Show?
Yeah, probably the "good grief" and the "why can't I have a normal dog" line.
Classic, can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's just really funny. The "good grief" whenever he does something wrong, I guess, or let's say he messes up on something, like he slips when he's trying to kick the football. Oh, good grief.
Good grief. I know you said that Charlie Brown kind of is a sad character. I was actually doing some research and I didn't know that he was described as just like the basic like guy. Like he sort of represents the average man. And you seem like a very happy guy. You don't seem sad at all. So did you have to dive in? You're smiling and laughing a lot. Did you have to dive in and sort of like ask yourself, is there anything that I can relate to in Charlie Brown's life or his experience in order to play him?
Yeah, actually, well, I mean, I have a dog. Well, that's one similarity, but for Charlie Brown, I feel like yeah, he is the average man. He's just calm and not very, what's the word? He doesn't show many emotions. To me, I'm not really like the person who's just calm and is like, oh, it's a sunny day outside. I'm kind of calm during the days, but when I'm with my friends, I'm more energetic, which is something that Charlie Brown does. When he's with Lucy and Linus, he'll be like, guys, let's play baseball or something like that. And that's kind of me. Whenever I'm around my friends, I always want to do something with them. But if I'm by myself, I'll just relax, have some time to myself.
I think it's kind of like a basic thing, but I think that a lot of people wonder it for a reason. Is it different to be behind a microphone when you've had experience being on camera in the past?
Yeah, so there's a lot of difference actually. So when you're recording, you actually have a stand and you get to read the lines off paper. But when you're acting, you have to memorize the lines. I mean, it's a little bit more tricky, especially with the voice and Snoopy and all the animation and cartoons. What they can do is they can change your voice, or like they can tone up the pitches or tone up the pitch, or they can do a lot of things. But in acting, once they have, I guess, the shot, they can't really do much because they have it and they have to make it exact so it looks like real. But in the animation, they can pretty much do whatever they want. And so sometimes actually, when I'm in the booth and let's say we're doing a pickup line is a line where they wanted it to sound different or they wanted to change the line. Sometimes they'll have a screen in the booth and they'll show what's happening in the screen so that you can kind of get an idea of what it will look like in the final picture. So then what I'll do is I'll look at the screen, and then once I see what's happening, I'll be like, oh, okay, so he's actually trying to do this instead of this. So it should sound more like this instead of sounding like more sad. It just sound more energetic. Like, because for example, the word whoa, it can be said in many different ways. So like there's like whoa, it's like whoa, but there's so many different ways of how it could be said. So yeah, there is a difference.
For the pickup lines, you mentioned you can watch to see kind of what the animation looks like while you're recording it. But the first time that you record the lines, are you seeing anything in front of you, or are you just going based off of nothing and just what you have on the page there?
Sometimes they'll have like a little bit of picture before, which you'll show me, but that's very rare. Like it's only once in a blue moon, which will show that. Usually I just have the paper in front of me and I just have to read off the paper.
Say you're doing a record where you have to miss a football. Are you kind of standing there straight in front of the microphone, or are you kind of doing the movements as if you were doing in person to make it sound more like you're moving around a little bit?
Yeah, so when for one of the episodes, I was trying to kick the football and I fell. So in the booth, I'd be standing and I'd like throw my arms up in the air as if I was losing balance, which would give more of that, I guess, realistic sound, because it'd be like whoa, and then I'd be going like closer and farther away from the mic, so it'd sound more realistic. I feel like when I'm in the booth, moving and using your hands is more effective, but of course, I have to make sure that I don't step too far away from the microphone so that they still catch the audio.
Let's say it's like 1 second until you start recording. How do you jump into Charlie Brown mode? What's the secret?
I feel like I put myself in the shoes of Charlie Brown. So I feel like, what if I had a dog? I had all these friends, but I'd be bullied because I can't kick a football. So I'd actually put myself in his shoes and I'd feel like, okay, how would he say this line if Snoopy just took his favorite frisbee and chewed on it or something? Personally, I mean, I'd feel really sad if it was my favorite frisbee. So I put myself in his shoes to kind of transition into Charlie Brown from Ethan. And I feel like really like picturing in your mind how it would be or how it would feel really helps you in the booth.